Hello and welcome to this episode of Live N Let. Today we are with Bhavna. This girl, she's been baking professionally for the last, 3-4 years now?
3-4 years, yes.
And she's been interested in cooking and baking since her childhood. And I have had her amazing cake, so I really wanted to do an episode with her. And thank you so much again for coming onto the show.
Yeah, thanks Neha for having me.
Absolutely.
I'm excited. I'm a foodie and I always strive to make different art forms in form of my cooked foods. I watched my mom and dad and everybody in my house used to cook, and I was so interested in looking at what they are cooking. I always had love for food. I still do have. And that's how I created my brand and I started baking, yeah. Okay, so first thing first, the flour. It's the basic ingredient, you know. Here I'm using 100% organic all-purpose white flour. And Neha, if you come here a little closer, you'll see it's organic unbleached wheat flour. It doesn't have any chemicals.
Okay.
Whatever recipe you're using and it calls for cake flour, and suppose you don't have cake flour on hand, you just use regular all-purpose flour and take 2 tablespoons of that flour out of your recipe and add 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. The basic sugar which we use is the white granulated sugar, and it looks like this.
Okay.
We use brown sugar, be it light brown or dark brown sugar. If you don't have brown sugar, if you have regular sugar and if you want to make your own brown sugar, you can actually make it by taking the regular sugar and adding molasses to it by tablespoon and reach the color of your sugar. This is used for icing and frosting. Next, I'll say this is the most important ingredient in my sweet baking because a little bit of salt takes the taste to the next level. Now, baking soda and baking powder. This is pure baking soda, sodium bicarbonate, and it is alkaline in nature. For this to work in a particular recipe, you would need an acidic ingredient like lemon juice, vinegar, or did you know even cocoa was acidic in nature?
Oh, really?
So this is what is used for chocolate cake. This is baking powder. So 1/3 portion of this is baking soda. The other 1/3 is an acidic compound made into powder, and 1/3 is cornstarch, which prevents the acid to react with the alkaline.
Okay.
So you can use this as it is, and you wouldn't need any other acidic ingredient for it to react. So whenever your cakes or cookies ask for chocolate chips or chocolate chunks, make sure it's very good quality and make sure it's semi-sweet or bittersweet. If you don't find chocolate chips or chocolate bar, you can actually go and buy any of your favorite chocolates and use it in your chocolate chip recipes. Some recipes called for white chocolate. So white chocolate is actually no cocoa at all. It's just cocoa butter. Never compromise on vanilla.
Okay.
Pure vanilla or vanilla bean paste is the only thing to go. Please don't go for imitation vanilla. It will make your cakes and cookies taste like medicine. This is milk. Always use whole milk. Gives better taste. I use whipped cream for my whipped cream frosting, butter, shortening sticks for my buttercream frosting. People who don't eat dairy at all, these are some great shortening sticks. This can be used in cakes or cookies. Same thing with milk. I like this milk which says extra creamy. It's very delicious and I use it for my vegan cakes. So very less recipes use eggs, and I try to use a lot of egg substitute. So the most important egg substitute is yogurt. And if you are vegan, you can skip that. There is egg replacer which comes in stores. You can use this. Or just half a banana or apple puree works great too,
really?
if you're planning to make eggless cakes.
Okay.
Yeah. Butter cannot be used from the refrigerator directly.
Okay.
It should be soft but not melted. So something like this, when you press, it should leave a dent. Or we use fat or shortening in all your cakes and cookies. It could be butter or it could be oil. You could use canola oil, vegetable oil, sunflower oil. Just don't use something which has a very strong smell like olive oil. If your paper is going in the oven, please don't use wax paper. This is called parchment paper. It looks similar to wax paper, but it doesn't have a coating of wax. Measuring your ingredients, a kitchen scale is the best thing which you could use. But if you don't want to invest in a kitchen scale, these cups and these spoons, which are called measuring cups and measuring spoons, just work perfect. Your blender, your swifter. I have some spatulas, the silicone ones which bend, and these spatulas, these are called angled spatula, and you use them to decorate the cake.
Okay.
So you just fluff the flour and lightly pour it in your measuring cups with a spoon. Don't pack it at all. And then with the back of your spoon, you level it. Before we start, two things I like to keep it ready is the pan and to preheat your oven. So most of the recipes which we do and the cake which we are going to make today is going to be baked at 350 Fahrenheit. So I have preheated the oven and I'm making the pan ready. To make the pan ready, I just taken a little bit of oil, spread it across, make sure it comes on all the walls of the pan and on the base too. So once this pan has been oiled properly, I'll just take in some flour. Any regular flour is fine. And I'll just dust the whole pan. Okay. I won't touch it anymore now. Whole pan is coated in dry flour, and this is what we are going to use. So once you measure all your ingredients, it's a good idea to swift them, especially when you have cocoa or sugar, because sometimes cocoa can get lumpy. Now these ingredients need to be mixed properly, and to show that, I'll call Neha.
Okay, now I'm going to try my hand at this. So just
okay.
I think it is.
So this is milk and oil, and some vinegar and vanilla. Just whip them up together and it will form an emulsion. So while you are pouring, right Neha, you can pour everything in, but just leave a little bit behind in your measuring cup. And we don't have to mix this vigorously, we have to mix it just lightly, so all the wet ingredients and the dry ingredients combined. I think this looks great. And our oven is preheated at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Our cake pan is ready. So Neha, go for it.
Just
and
pour
it inside. So now it goes in the oven and you just need to tap it a couple of times. So to do that, I just keep a kitchen towel on my working space and tap the pan a couple of times.
And is this to remove bubbles?
Yes.
Okay.
And to make it even. So one thing which makes decorating the cake easy is a turntable. And as you can see, I don't have one right now with me, so I'm using a bowl upside down. This is going to be my turntable and a spatula. And here I have some frosting. It's whipped cream frosting with powdered sugar. And now we'll smoothen out the cake. So I have already, as you can see, I have already put a layer of frosting on it. And I have let it cool in the refrigerator. Now I'll scrape off the remaining frosting and make it nice and smooth. I'll be using piping bags. These are thick, good quality food grade material plastic bags. These are my piping tips or nozzles. So this is a screw and screw it down. So I'll just turn half of my bag upside down so it's easier for me to get the frosting way at the bottom. So now we are going to add a border to this cake.
And now you see why this turntable is so important, that so you don't have to rotate around.
Yep.
The cake does.
I'm going to make a mango flower on top of my cake. So let's start with the process. I'm going to make thin slices of this mango and then start assembling it as a flower on the cake. As you have seen, we have used all the natural fruits and flowers and mint herbs with no artificial colors, and still it brings out all the colors of the nature. You can use rose petals, dried pistachio gives a great color, saffron gives a very good color and flavor.
It was just a treat through and through to listen to you, to see you bake the cake and just get the tips from you. So thank you so much, Bhavna, for coming on to the show.
Yeah, no problem, Neha, and thank you for having me. Guys, baking, although it's a science, but you don't have to feel intimidated by it. You just think it as art and just use your creativity. Just go in your kitchen and bake a fabulous dish for yourself and your family. Go for it, guys.
Oh, and I actually wanted to show you guys, what is this caramel cake?
Yep, it's a caramel pecan cake.
I am looking forward to having these now. So bye-bye to you until we meet next time. See you.